yogis. I missed you last night, so I thought I will make a short series you can do at home several times per week or even every day if the mood strikes. Most of you are now third trimester or getting pretty close, which means belly is getting bigger and you'll start to notice particular things, a little bit shortness of breath. The baby is taking up enough room that the diaphragm is not moving the same way that it was, and blood volume is increasing. So the heart is working a little bit harder. So we're moving slowly today, and the breathing we're doing is not in the belly. So as the baby actually gets bigger, you don't breathe as much into the belly anymore. We really want to access the side ribs and get the diaphragm, the side ribs, and the pelvic floor actually moving together. One of my students asked me previously, do we do pushing? No, but you do want to be able to relax pelvic floor. So that will be the first exercise. We do breathing, side ribs, relaxing pelvic floor on the exhale, no pushing, pushing for only the time that you need to in 3 months or so. So when you don't have yoga props, and I'm guessing most of you don't have a lot of formal yoga props to work with at home, many household items are going to suffice. Rolled up blankets can take place of a bolster, even regular household pillows. That's what I'll use today. I'm going to start seated on the knees, but you can sit some other way. So maybe you would like to bring this between your feet and your hips. So for me, that feels nice. I have a little stretch in the front of the feet, but not too much, and my hips are comfortably seated on the heels. Hands can rest on the belly, so that will connect you more with the feeling we're trying to find here with the parts of the breath, the diaphragm, the side ribs, and the pelvic floor. You can close the eyes or, of course, watch the video. Some of you might have advice already from your midwife to start practicing Kegels, so contracting the pelvic floor, the four corners that lift up, and then releasing. So if you have instruction already from your gynecologist or your midwife to do so, you can sit here and already start to connect the breath with the pelvic floor, so that you're inhaling, lifting the pelvic floor. So it's not really tight, it's just a lift, pelvic floor, and then exhale, release. So inhale, lift, 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 and exhale, release. Inhale, exhale, inhale, in and up, exhale, down, release. A few more times. Now we'll add another, well, we won't add another part, we'll do another part. So for the moment, you've got the pelvic floor, you understand, okay, contract, release, contract, release. So now we have the side ribs. So this part of the breath we're working on is going to hug the baby. And it's not going to put pressure on the belly. Maybe it's sort of abstract, so it's this idea that as you exhale, like you can hug and let the ribs come in. Inhale, exhale, hug. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. So this will be a subtle feeling that the ribs are coming out just a little bit on the inhale and hugging the baby just a little bit as you exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. A few more times. So then we're going to put these two parts now together. So we've done them individually, we'll put them now together and add a sort of hissing sound on the exhale. So the idea actually is that we're coming in and up on the inhale, and sometimes it could be that your belly moves like minimally, but it actually lifts, no problem there. As long as you're not like pushing on the exhale, in and up, it's actually a nice feeling, and then just gentle release. So you can keep the hands on the belly for that little feeling. So as you inhale, the ribs are hugging the baby, the pelvic floor is lifting. And then as you exhale, pelvic floor releases. So inhale, in and up. Very subtle movement, gentle lift, and then exhale. Soft release of pelvic floor. Inhale, in and up. Little lift. Exhale, release. Breath moves down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Pelvic floor, side ribs. Exhale. Pelvic floor moves softly down. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, and then we'll just return to a normal breath. A few moments. You can close the eyes. It's a nice signal to your brain that it's your time. We'll open the eyes and start on hands and knees. I have a few exercises on the knees today, and you might want a little bit more pattern than a blanket. You might actually like to use the pillow. So I'll already bring this pillow under my knees. Turn this way. So I'll be on my hands, so it'll be okay. So I'm in a table position. I'm going to stretch one leg back and then pull it down. So as you do this, you're bringing one leg back, hope you can see, straight and down. And you want to keep the hips relatively straight. So you might notice the first movement's like little wobble through the hip, it's exaggerated, but you want to keep a nice clean movement that the leg is straight back, straight in. Straight back, straight in, back, and straight in. And then switch. If you have a mirror, that can be a little bit helpful, right, to watch the curve of the lower back. Most of you will do this quite easily without even thinking about it. So you can always bring your hands, knees a little bit wider, and really pull the lower back toward the ceiling, so you feel this is more supported in the exercise. So try to keep the movement clean, small, paying attention to the lower back. Stretch back, and knees to the floor, and stretch back. And knees to the floor 2 more times. Okay, and then seated on the knees. You can keep the knees on the pillow if you know they're more sensitive. So now I'm going to use the block. If you don't have a block, you could use a book quite easily. So in the block in front of you. And now we're finding the glute muscles. As you inhale, you're going to lift, press into the top of the feet, stand on the knees, and then exhale, sit. So again, press up, and exhale, sit. So inhale, press, exhale, keep going. Can you actually squeeze glute muscles at the top? More times. Okay, and then we'll just move the block to the side, stretch the shoulders, so one arm under the other, You know the options is softer, holding the shoulders, or you can wrap the arms and just stretch between the shoulder blades. And keep the elbows lifted, maybe closing the eyes, relaxing the face as you look forward. And then exhale down. Stretch the side of your neck by bringing one arm beside you, other arm behind. You're pulling down on the arm and then tipping the head away. So shoulder slides down, ear pulls to the other shoulder. And then drop the chin to the chest, keep pulling down on the arm. And then head all the way forward. So you're stretching the back of the neck, the shoulders roll back. Okay, putting your arms again to the thighs, roll the shoulders a few times. And then stand on the knees. So try to use the same muscles. Your knees can always be wider if usually it's going to be more comfortable for the lower back. So press into the top of the feet, lift up, and now one foot, you can always use your hands when you need to, moves out to the side. So you have your foot flexed toward the ceiling, and the foot is a little bit ahead of your hip. If it's straight back, your hips are going to twist. So it'll bend to the side, reaching over the head. Pressing the hip forward. And then inhale to come up. So we'll pull the leg in, bring the knees back to the table, and again your little knee tap exercise, we'll call it. So you're going to stretch the leg back. Little tap, lower back is protected, stretch back. And then switch sides. So other foot back. And then both knees on the floor. Move the lower back. So you can circle the hips. Like you imagine you draw a circle with your tailbone. You can relax the head, let it go. I had a teacher, she said, like, imagine your rib cage is like scraping the inside of a peanut butter jar. Maybe it would be Nutella for you, or the choco spread. So you're like moving around the inside of a peanut butter jar, just for the visual. Moving around. And then again, sit back. You can always bring something under your hips. And now your other arm underneath, lifting the elbows, or maybe holding the shoulders. That's better for the neck. And again, lifting the elbows to a place where you feel a stretch between the shoulder blades, but releasing tension in the neck, not increasing. So there's space between the shoulders and the ears. And again, finding those side ribs on the breath. You inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Release the arms. So now you're holding the other arm, pulling down on a shoulder, and then pulling your head in the other way. So you feel a stretch in the top of the shoulders, side of the neck. Jaw stays relaxed. Pull, pull, pull the head. And then you still hold the arm. You tip the head first toward the collarbone. All the way toward the chin. Shoulders roll back. And then you release forward. So we'll come to a squat. Again, you might not have the most ideal thing to use in place of a block. It could be like stack of books. Maybe you have a little stool. So what is the use actually of coming to this squat position? So when you are going to give birth, there are a number of ways that are going to feel natural for you to give birth. This is how it is in Canada. It must be similar in Belgium, that the bed is brought to a position where you're actually rather upright and you're imitating a sort of squat position like this, but you're supported. So your back is supported from the side. This is giving it's a very natural down and out position for the body. In many countries, this is how they move their bowels, right? This is a natural down and out way for the body. We tend, in Western society, to have a little bit shorter calves, which makes this less accessible. Again, normally in the hospital, they're going to support your feet and your back. So you stay in this position. Nevertheless, it does really help to practice this one. And you want to support the body enough that it isn't too much work, but also not too much. It should be a little bit of work for you. So this is good work to do for the body. You have the knees coming away from each other, hands to the chest. You're pulling the chest forward. It's a little stretch inside the hips. It doesn't really need to be a lot, but more that you're becoming comfortable with keeping the spine lifted in this pose. And as we breathe here, often you feel that the pelvic floor is already released. So we don't have to do this exercise here. So the natural kind of way to release the pelvic floor as well. Compress maybe a little bit more into the feet, bring the chest forward. And then we'll come to standing, so you can use your hands where you need to. You can lean forward, press up. I think my head is going to disappear from the camera. But we'll do some gentle sun salutations. So you're coming to the front of the mat. Feet are pretty wide. So you can see, great. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees. So I'll do this nice and slow. So here we're always looking at lower back. Great. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the chest. Again, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, back straight. Inhale, slide the hands up the legs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hand to the chest. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale, relax the head. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the chest. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale. And now inhale, arms up. Exhale. So now we're inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, hands all the way to the floor. So you can always move your feet wider. Inhale, lift your head. And now bring your hands to the floor so there you're stable, moving back. And here, you'll drop your knee to the floor. Using a blanket can be nice for this one as well, because we're going to rest the hands on the knees and slide forward and back. So if you don't have something under the knees, then it could hurt the bone. So you have something soft under the knee, you're just sliding forward and back. Forward, back. And it's up to you. You don't necessarily need to go into a deep hip stretch for this to be good for your body, right? You don't need to go to the edge of like deep hip stretch here. You can actually just use this for mobility through the legs that you keep moving. Okay, so you could stay here. If you have tighter hips, maybe you want to just hold this position here with the hands on the knees and the gentle stretch. If you want to go a little bit deeper into the hips, you can bring the feet wide. Most of you don't want to bring the hands all the way to the floor. I hope you can see I have a block here. And you could use a stack of books or something else that you don't go too low in the hips. Or actually, sorry, not too low in the hips, but too low with the shoulders. As your belly grows, it's not going to be comfortable to have your head below your heart for long periods of time. That will make the heart work too hard. So you don't want the head upside down, for example, for long periods of time, but you also would not really want to drop onto the elbows and collapse like this, right? That is going to close the front body a little more than you would want. So then we'll switch sides. You can just bring this foot back and actually just move it in the air a little bit so the foot can come back. You can make some circles. And then we'll switch. I can't remember if anyone is really getting to the end of the term, but normally the last month or two you can experience just more discomfort, right? That's the biggest part of the change in your body. So why practice like this is nice, because it's gentle movements to sort of move out of that discomfort. When you sit still for long periods of time, which is difficult to avoid right now, it's going to increase tension in the body. And a nice way to release it is not necessarily like a yin practice with long holds, but kind of gentle rocking motions that loosen up the muscles. So here we're finding these rocking motion with the hip. Also not too deep in the lower back. We talked about this before. No arching, not too deep with the lunge. And then maybe holding like this, or maybe bringing something underneath, and you can again keep moving if you want to keep moving. It could be a little circle, even can just be forward and back. pulling the leg back. So again, you can take it to the side, make some circles. And then just sit on the knees. So it could be on a blanket or a pillow, or just sitting some other way. And bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. And now just breathing again, in and up, lift the pelvic floor. Exhale, release. Ribs come in. Deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So you can stay a little bit longer. Breathing exercises, you can usually never do them too much. I will be in touch with you in the coming weeks as well, and provide more exercises for you. Please feel free to tell me how you are doing, how this video is working for you, and any remarks. Have a good day. Namaste.